My dear people of Southern Cameroons, fellow soldiers of our revolution, today is the 19th of October in the year of our Lord 2018. I bring you revolutionary greetings. Before I begin this communication, which is going to be entirely a succinct analysis of what we have all witnessed in Yaoundé in the past 3 days, I want to specifically doff my heart to our brothers and sisters on the ground who have refused to die, who told themselves that they will stand up to defend themselves all the way from the aggression and incursions from the soldiers of La République du Cameroon, who come in only to kill and to maim, to rape and to destroy, and to loot. I want to particularly hail the action of our brother, General Nambere, and our other brother, General Ivo, for taking the challenge to come before the people of Southern Cameroons publicly to apologize to each other, to make peace with each other, to reconcile among themselves, and to together put their heads again and fight for motherland. My dear brothers, accept my revolutionary salutes. It takes courage. It takes love. It takes focus to come out there publicly and recognize that we did something wrong. To come out there publicly and apologize to one another and decide to make up and to face the common future together. Cowards will say reconciliation means weakness. Cowards will say apology publicly means you have fallen short of glory. But they do not know a thing. It is only the brave who know what it takes to come out there to say, I apologize because I was wrong. And that I want you to find in your heart to forgive me and let's work together. The only prayer I have at this point in time is that these two brothers stand strong and let others emulate them. Because at this particular moment I'm talking, I know that the enemies of our unity, the enemies of collaboration, the enemies of anything that will bring us together to work as a serious and strong force will immediately be at work manipulating for their personal interest, will immediately be at work trying to cause confusion again, will immediately be at work coaching one or the other that you did wrong to come out there and apologize. You are better than the other. My dear brothers, trust me, we are better together. We are stronger together. And we will definitely win together. I want to say this and say it very firmly. That what happened in Yaoundé during the past 72 hours definitely confirms the stance I've always had and I've always believed in. I'm one who has definitely never imagined that the problems of the people of Southern Cameroons will be resolved through force. I have always believed and bought so early into the philosophy of the Southern Cameroons National Council, the SCNC, which generally turned around the force of argument and not the argument of force. At the surface level, it shows weakness because they feel that it therefore means it's because you are weak that you feel that you can appeal to the consciences of your oppressors, that oppressors have no consciences. But trust me, that what is happening in Southern Cameroons today, it is still the force of argument and not the argument of force. Because what is happening in Southern Cameroons today is self-defense. And self-defense is a fundamental right of a people. That when you are under attack, you have to defend yourself. I say this very strongly because some people stand out there and refer to our boys and girls who have come out to get themselves killed for the sake of others are struggling to protect as rebels. Some have called them terrorists. Some have called them names. But our people never went out to attack anyone. Our people never declared war on anybody. We sat quiet in our corner, and Mr. Paul Biya on the 30th of November, publicly, before the entire world, declared war against the people of Southern Cameroons and immediately moved in his soldiers with all sorts of sophisticated weapons to unleash terror on our people. The least the world could expect of us was to defend ourselves, because the world decided to stay seemingly helplessly and watch Mr. Biya decimate us one after the other. The world has decided to be helpless while watching Mr. Paul Biya unleash his genocidal program on our people. My dear brothers and sisters, faced with this kind of circumstances, the only way out for us is to talk with one voice. The only way out for us is to sink anything that divides us and promote those that bond us together. Today, because of failed leadership, we have gone ahead to implement all sorts of proposals that are being spewed on social media. Proposals that are only likely to cause us more harm even after we must have acquired our independence. I think there's still a lot of reasonable people among Southern Cameroonians who must be able to hit their hands on the table and call us to order. I'll leave this at that, because this will be a discussion for yet another day. Right now, my focus is on La République du Cameroun. We all saw SDF members of parliament sometimes sing and dance in parliament, begging Mr. Kavai Yege Jibril and all the members of government that were therein to allow that august assembly, I call it August stupidly, simply because I hear them call it August, because I don't think it is, to allow that assembly to discuss the problem of 25% of the population of that country. Unfortunately, Kavai Yege Jibril and all his people refused. Today, our brave people of Southern Cameroons forced the Constitutional Council to open its doors and to, on live broadcast for 72 hours running, allow discussions on the situation in the Southern Cameroons. At this point, I want to doff my heart to each and every Southern Cameroonian, everywhere across the world, both those on ground zero, those in the diaspora, those on ground one, those everywhere, in whatever form or shape you contributed in making this electoral boycott. It was a clear message being sent not only to Yaoundé but to the rest of the world to happen. You deserve praise for this. Every one of us contributed in one way or the other for it to happen. We deserve to give ourselves a pat on the back, but that is only the beginning of our battles. I watched with a lot of pleasure Barrister Ngongi Ikome was based in Biya. Go back to 1961, where he had the courage to quote the British parliamentarian who made clear that that kind of union that the world was discussing, independence by joining between two people with two different cultures, with two different legal systems, with two different colonial backgrounds altogether, and with two different ways of seeing things, was going to likely be a recipe for future disaster. The disaster we are living today. It were the same words that the late U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador Zablowski, noted in 1959, when he said, to the best of his knowledge, the people of the Southern Cameroons deserve their independence, because he felt that the thing called independence by joining will only be showing seed of discord. And at the dawn of the 21st of April 1961, Ambassador Zablowski said and reiterated again that I here on behalf of the United States of America congratulate the people of Southern Cameroons upon achieving independence. That was after the vote, where the UN General Assembly, through Resolution 1608 of 15, voted unanimously, voted in a huge majority, not unanimously, in a huge majority for the independence of the Southern Cameroons. And La République du Cameroon and France were among some of the countries that boycotted that election for obvious reasons, or that voted against, I beg your pardon, that voted against independence of Southern Cameroons for reasons we are all seeing today, for reasons we have lived for 57 going to 58 years. So I congratulate Barrister Ngongi Ikome. He had the time to paint a picture of his experience traveling from Biya to Yaoundé, what he went through. And by the time he got to Douala, he understood that we were in two different countries. Completely two different countries. One country where people are free to go about their activities, and the other one where people can barely move. Barrister Samuel Francis talked to us about his day with the Amba Boys. He painted the real situation on the ground in Southern Cameroons. And what is important is his desire to publicly demonstrate his attachment to Ambazonia. My people, Ambazonia is real. Ambazonia is not fiction. My people, we listened to Barristers Benjamin Suffo. We listened to Barrister Ngwana and others. All of these people pointed out to La République du Cameroun that what happened during the last elections was a clear and sound message to the world. And that by validating the result of this election, which of course is being done, it is a clear indication that the people of Ambazonia have acquired their independence. These lawyers had attracted their attention, drew the attention of the entire world to the fact that the past election was a clear referendum by the people of Southern Cameroons against having any ties and any belonging with La République du Cameroun. This is therefore a clear moment for the world to do the only thing that is left of it to do, to come in, stand in the middle, and ensure that La République du Cameroun respects its international boundary. We heard Mr. Ngole Elvis say the poor election participation in Southern Cameroons, the total boycott, call it both voluntarily and involuntary, of the people of Southern Cameroons was only what he called a minor incident. If I didn't get it well, he said it was, a residual problem, referring to 20% of the population of a country boycotting an election, and this 20%, this 20 or 25%, because they say 25, at some point they say 20, but we know about 8 million people having this very important fraction of the country, which according to Barrister Ngwana provides up to 45% of the GDP of the country. You say that boycott is residual. That tells us a clear and resounding message that La République du Cameroun has never ever considered the people of Southern Cameroons as being part of their country. And this is a clear message to the Federalists. I think this is also something that Cardinal Christian Toomey and Mr. Munzu should take as they prepare for their conference. That they should note that the institutions of La République du Cameroun do not consider Southern Cameroonians as Cameroonians. Because as Mr. Ngole says, whatever we do, a boycott of the elections, whether we participate in selecting the leader or not, it is only a residual problem. We are a residual people. We do not belong. The only thing that binds us with La République du Cameroun is their thirst for our resources. The only thing that binds us with La République du Cameroun is their desire to use us as slaves, just as the Egyptians used the children of Israel. That is where we are today. So we said before the whole wide world that the so-called elite could not enter their various villages to vote. A clear indication that they all admit that Southern Cameroons today is ungovernable. My dear brothers and sisters, Our dear brothers and sisters who have decided on ground zero to rise up and defend the vulnerable ones, this has happened because of you. This has happened because of your sacrifices. My dear brothers and sisters in the diaspora who have decided to work extra hard, to take extra hours, to work under very difficult conditions in order to continue to empower our people in their boycotts, to supply them food, to supply them medical needs, to supply them all sorts of things that are required to make them keep this resistance alive. I am proud of you. My dear brothers and sisters, this is a moment more than ever before for us to remain focused, for us to ignore the divisive tendencies of those who know that the only way they can defeat us is by dividing us. They have tried as much as possible to face a united front of our people. It's been so complicated for them. Even when we have been somehow divided, we have still remained united in our purpose, in our zeal, in our quest for freedom. Full freedom, total freedom, not tainted freedom, not partial freedom, not the kind of freedom that a return to a federal system with a people who never ever keep to any engagement, with the people who don't consider you human beings, with the people who only consider you a source of income, with the people who only consider you because they want your subsoil. That kind of arrangement is a recipe for yet another form of failure. For future generations of Southern Cameroons, no, people, this must end with us. This must end with this generation. Today, we are revealing as the Constitutional Council has decided to throw out all the petitions presented by the very brilliant lawyers who brought up unquestionable evidences, shouting evidences before the entire wide world to show that that election deserved to have been annulled. But that the Constitutional Council upholds the elections and decides to continue and to go ahead to name Mr. Paul Biya, Emperor Paul Biya, once more elected as President of La République du Cameroun, is a clear indication that, just like the lawyer said, they are validating the option taken by the people of Southern Cameroons to get out of a dishonest and truculent and exploitative union. It comes as no surprise. I have said it in the previous video that all what was going to happen before the Constitutional Council in terms of post-electoral dispute handling was going to be a masquerade. Simply a masquerade because that is what it has always been. It has never been clean. It has never been clear. It has never had any purpose. Even the events when elections have been annulled in some areas, in some council areas, by-elections have never taken place. So it has always been a masquerade. And so it comes as no surprise to me that while all those discussions were even going on, preparations were busy being made at the venue where Mr. Paul Biya will be sworn in once more as President of La République du Cameroun. J'ai entendu M. Paul-Éric King dire que la partie Camto et surtout tous ces Camerounais-là qui ont voté pour M. Camto, qui ont voté pour l'opposition, ne reconnaîtront pas Paul Biya comme leur président. J'ai entendu les appels à l'insurrection. J'ai entendu les appels aux démonstrations dans les rues pour indiquer que les Camerounais qui ont refusé de voter M. Biya aux urnes n'accepteront pas qu'il soit imposé par des institutions qui pourtant avaient le rôle de réguler et s'assurer que les choses soient faites dans les normes. J'ai entendu parler M. Atanga Ponji, qui a dit ceci, que toutes ces agitations-là n'ont pas de futur. M. Atanga Ponji a répété ce qu'il sait toujours bien dire, que la force, et oui, et toujours la force, serait appelée à contribution pour imposer M. Paul Biya comme président une fois de plus au Cameroun, puisqu'il dit que M. Kamto et ses partisans ont des intentions, ont des objectifs, et qui n'atteindront jamais ces objectifs dans la rue parce qu'ils n'auront même pas l'opportunité de commencer. Ceci dit, je vous informe que l'armée est en train d'être mobilisée sérieusement dans les villes de Douala, de Yaoundé et de Bafoussam pour empêcher que les gens se soulèvent. Et M. Atanga Ponji, dans un câble, je vous avais signalé que j'ai eu un câble secret, que M. Atanga était en conversation avec d'autres ponces de la République. Ils disent les Camerounais sont lâches. Il faut abattre 1, 2, 3, 4 à 5 personnes et ils vont arrêter le désordre. Ils se sont conseillés entre eux, n'ayons pas peur. Allons-y, on les connaît, on les maîtrise, ils ne pourront rien puisqu'ils ne peuvent pas résister à la force que nous allons user contre eux. Le peuple camerounais a ainsi été traité pendant 36 ans durant parce qu'il est un peuple patient. Pense-t-il une seule fois que la patience a des limites? Pense-t-il une seule fois qu'il y a des moments où les gens comprennent qu'entre vivre comme cadavre et être cadavre, il n'y a pas de différence? Nous sommes aujourd'hui face à des institutions qui ne fonctionnent que pour une seule personne. Toutes ces institutions fonctionnent pour une seule personne, pour M. Paul Biya. Nous avons vu le président et les membres du Conseil constitutionnel s'ériger en défenseur du RDPC, en défenseur de l'un des partis pourtant en compétition. C'est pour cela que les gens se sont amusés en disant « Vous attaquez et les CAM, le RDPC répond. Vous attaquez le RDPC et les camps de femmes. Vous attaquez le Conseil constitutionnel, le RDPC répond. Vous piégez l'ECAM et le RDPC, vous trouvez sur votre chemin le Conseil constitutionnel. Cela démontre la chute des institutions républicaines qui devraient pourtant réguler la vie publique. Aujourd'hui, les amis de la République du Cameroun sont face à une situation tout à fait claire. Une dictature qui ne s'arrêtera jamais. Puisque les préparations sont en voie pour s'assurer qu'après M. Paul Biya, un autre Paul Biya. Et après cet autre Paul Biya, tout un autre Paul Biya. Cependant, il n'y a pas de route. Pas des hôpitaux. Pas de médecins. Mais pas d'énergie, malgré des milliards et des milliards qui sortent des caisses de l'État pour s'assurer que ces infrastructures soient construites. Jusqu'où ira la République du Cameroun avec un tel leadership? C'est pour cette raison que la partie du Southern Cameroons avons décidé de mettre fin à tout ce qui nous lie à la République du Cameroun. Parce que nous avons constaté que l'héritage colonial français transforme les gens en lâches. Ça assure que les gens ne réfléchissent plus. Que l'héritage colonial français transforme les gens en bêtes, en moutons. s'assurer que les gens n'arrivent jamais à revendiquer ce qui leur revient, à revendiquer ce qui est leur droit. S'assurer que les gens soient transformés à des bénis oui-oui. Et ça se résume en une seule phrase. On va faire comment? Mes chers amis, la vie deviendra de plus en plus difficile tant qu'un problème qui doit être réglé n'est pas réglé à temps. Je me rappelle que pendant des consultations précédentes, toutefois qu'il y avait fraude massive et tout ça, les gens se demandaient, après la proclamation des résultats, qu'est-ce que Bamenda a dit? Ah oui, aujourd'hui Bamenda ne dit rien. Ces élections-là ne nous concernent pas. D'ailleurs, vous avez entendu de vive voix les avocats vous signaler ô combien nous avions volontairement, malgré le fait que dans certains cas, ils disent que c'était involontaire, nous avons volontairement décidé de ne pas participer à cette élection parce que nous n'appartenons plus. Nous n'avions plus rien à y voir avec la République du Cameroun. Donc désormais, vous avez aussi votre destin entre vos mains. Nous avons déjà pris le nôtre entre nos mains et nous sommes en train de nous battre. Et nous nous battrons jusqu'au bout. Fellow Southern Cameroonians, we had time enough to watch the drama in our neighboring country. Right now, it is time enough for us to go back to Ambazonia, to go back to our revolution, to go back to do the things we know how to do best to ensure that at the end of the day, we will have the victory shout. Free, free at last. We are free. To God be the glory.